the way of Jesus and be all that God has called you to be. You have joined us for our year-long series titled Devoted. Acts 2:42 tells us that the followers of Jesus were devoted to the apostles' teaching, to fellowship, to breaking of bread, and to prayer. This podcast was created to provide context and commentary for what you read each day. Just before our friends begin discussing today's reading, we want to invite you not only for fellowship, but for prayer as well. We have created the VIBEZ Daily chat group to offer you fellowship and a community where you can state your observations, ask questions about the reading or the podcast. You can join us by downloading the VIBEZ Church app in your favorite app store. Click Join the Conversation and join us today. And finally, we hope that you can join us for prayer. Prayer happens Monday through Friday, and more information on that can be found on the VIBEZ Church app under prayer. Now, let's begin our conversation on today's reading.
Hey guys, welcome to VIBEZ Daily Podcast, where we are in a series titled Devoted, and we are going through the Bible in one whole year from Genesis to Revelation. And I'm super excited because we are in the book of Psalms. We have been here for the past 2 days, and we are in our third day of Psalms, day 164. We'll be going through Psalms 14 through 20. My name is Shameeka. I'm here with my sweet husband, Dylan Allen.
Hey, Booski.
Hey. Yeah, and I'm excited to get into here because there's so many good Psalms here today. Starting off in Psalm 14.
Yes.
Again, another psalm written by David, who is the director. He's writing this for the director of music, as we talked about before.
We're going to see a lot of those.
Yeah, we'll see a lot of it. A lot of songs, a lot of praises. Anything in Psalm 14 that sticks out to you specifically?
Going back to these fools, man.
Woo-hoo!
Talking about there is no, it got to the point where God ain't watching to now there ain't no God. It's all because you can't see him.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
That's the truth though. That's what people think. I know people for a fact that believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. And the fact that the word says they're fools.
I'll just be letting them be stupid. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't finna argue with you. That's what you feel? That's what I know.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely start off already like with the smoke. Like you got these people saying this, they're corrupt in all their ways. But again, that reminder that God is a God that looks down from heaven on all mankind. Like, again, talking about his majesty and his position. And it also says to see if there's any who understand, any who seek God. And I don't know, I just kind of like put myself in a position of God where he created us for him, like for himself, to represent him, to be people that commune with him. And the fact that he reaches a place in life where he's looking down, like trying to find at least one person, that is really seeking him. Sounds super familiar. Like we got to see this even with Noah, and in different situations where he's like, if it's just one blameless person in this city, Sodom and Gomorrah, like, or you know what I'm saying? Like, or these different situations where it's like, man, like we've gotten so far from his original design of why we were created. And it's really sad because I know that grieves his heart.
Yeah, it's crazy because like he could have easily like created the heavens and the earth and like controlled everything, which he does. Mm-hmm. But he loves us so much that he gave us free will and to make our own choices.
Yeah.
And like because we ultimately felt like we didn't need God, separated us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's why we have so many generations of people feeling like there is no God.
Yeah.
Or that he's not watching.
Yeah.
And I want to slap him upside the head.
That's right.
But I can't get mad at people for being foolish because I was foolish at one point. Like, I felt like there were certain sins that like I could hide from the Lord.
Yeah.
Like, if I can hide it from my mom, if I can hide it from whoever, that means I'm hiding it from God. And what's done in the dark
Dang.
has always came to light.
That's real. That is so real. Yeah. And honestly, too, I feel like the more that I've gotten closer to God, the more that statement is true, where he doesn't allow for anything to just happen under his nose that doesn't come to light. So, yeah.
Anything else in chapter 14?
Yeah, I do love how it ends. It says, "Oh, that salvation for Israel would come out of Zion. When the Lord restores his people, let Jacob rejoice and Israel be glad." That
That's a bar.
when the Lord is an indicator that he's going to do it. It's the faith to know that God is going to restore his people, which again, foreshadowing, in my opinion, of the restoration that we get from Jesus. He's going to restore his people. He's going to bridge the gap and make a way to where we now get to have a relationship with God. And so that's something that stuck out to me.
It's definitely a bar.
Yeah.
The Jacob and Israel thing.
Come
it's
on.
the same person. And he still said it. That's a bar.
Jacob name turns into Israel.
So
And
Jacob will be joyful and Israel will rejoice. That's a bar.
yeah, I love that. I thought that was pretty clever too. Now, let's go to chapter 15 though, because I highlighted this entire chapter.
The whole thing
All 5 verses.
is anointed.
All 5 verses. It's really anointed. No, I just want to point out, because in the time of my reading, I utilized this way of studying the scripture where you highlight different colors of highlighters represent different things. And what I love is that
It's a lot of thinking.
it's a lot of thinking, but I'm glad you said it, because it does help you to really dissect the word. And so in the way that I highlighted it, in verse 1, it starts off with this question and this like conversation and prayer to God, saying, "Lord, who may dwell in your sacred tent? Who may live on your holy mountain?" Like, he's legit asking God, like, who's allowed to be in your presence, really? Like, to dwell with you. In verses 2 through 5, gives us this answer to this question and describes those who walk is blameless. And that's why I love this psalm, is because I feel like it gives us guidelines to what it look like to be blameless and how we are to conduct ourselves. It literally is giving us strategy, right? For this. So before I continue on and just go ahead and talk about the whole thing by myself, was there any verses that stuck out to you? It's the huffing.
All of it, man.
Yeah.
Like, verse 2, those who speak in truth from a sincere heart. Jesus. Those who refuse to gossip. Jesus.
Oop. Conviction.
And honor the faithful followers of the Lord. Keep the promises even when it hurts. They keep their promises even when it hurts, that got to be godly love right there. Yeah. I can only imagine God still standing on his promise as much as he don't really want to, because we don't deserve it and it hurts.
Yeah. And to your point, the reason why this is in here as being like those who could dwell with God, because God's not going to ask something of us that he doesn't do himself.
That he won't ever do himself.
Yeah.
Man.
I love that.
And then the last bar.
The last bar.
The last bar is such people will stand firm forever.
Yes.
And it's just the word, the diction alone given by David in this psalm is so crazy. Stand firm in God and their faith in God. Stand firm in any situation that they're going through, but also a firm foundation for any people that are around them, that they can be a reliable person to go to or to ask for advice. Like this, like there's certain people you won't go to because they don't have that grace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyone that is close to the Father is a reliable source for any advice, for anything.
Yeah.
That's what it says to me.
Yeah. As you were talking, I was just thinking about, again, imagining this possibly like being a song that is spoken or sung to or like, you know, repeated, and how powerful this is, because it gives us so much strategy on how we are to live our lives, how we are to walk, what it looks like to be blameless, again, like I mentioned, and how as a result of that, we can't be shaken. Like the NIV says on the last part, whoever does these things will never be shaken. And so what I love about that is that, again, this is the playbook right here. He's not keeping anything a secret from us. And yeah, it's just so encouraging.
You just gotta do it, man.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah. It's really convicting for sure.
And you know what's tough, to the point of the sincere heart part, is like, what makes it hard to be sincere is people.
Ooh.
You be sincere with people and they just throw that, and they look at it, they look at you, and they be like, all right, that was cool, and throw it in the trash. What in the American cheeseburger is going on? Now I'm in the season of cussing everybody out because of one person, and I'm afraid to try again with another. I'm afraid to be sincere with another person. I'm gonna protect myself. And yeah, it's tough. People make it tough, man.
Yeah. And again, I think that's what a challenge is. There's a scripture that talks about, like, what good is it if you do good for people that do good to you? Like, you know, he's literally saying, like, there's more honor that comes from you honoring the Lord in times of trial. When people are not being nice to you or not giving you, when people are giving you a reason to do the complete opposite, yet you're choosing. You know what I'm saying? That's what a testing is, because you clearly, like he really honors that. So, yeah.
That's good.
Moving on to chapter 16. This is another chapter that is super litty, with a lot of highlighters.
Super litty.
For me. I really want to take back my favorite psalm that I told you I had at the beginning of the week.
Oh, wow.
Just because Psalm 16, I feel like, became a new favorite for me. It has a lot of good things in here that I'm just like, yes, and yes. Verse 2, I can just speak on. Like, it says, I say to the Lord, you are my Lord. Apart from you, I have no good thing. This is a verse that I have adopted into my prayers. Like, apart from God, let's just back up. Anything I have that is good, it comes from him. It's because of him. So when he isn't there, when he isn't present, there is no good thing that I have because it all comes from him. That was the one line that I was just like, whoa, I'm just soaking in this.
Yeah. I love that too, because like now that when you have a desire to do something, like when you give that thing to God, he's going to bless it. When you're relying on him for that thing, for his glory, not for you.
Yeah.
Like you, at the end of the day, like whatever that desire is, like if it equals to you not getting the glory and he does, he's going to bless that thing. He's going to elevate you.
Yeah.
Which is humble. Yeah, I keep saying verse.
It is a verse.
Chapter 16.
Okay, chapter.
Is really good. I love verse 5. The Lord is my inheritance alone, my cup of blessing. You guard me at all times.
Keep reading the 6.
Yeah, the land you have given me is a pleasant land. What a wonderful inheritance. I will bless the Lord who guides me. Even at night, my heart instructs me. Pause.
Yeah.
The Lord be speaking to me in my sleep.
Come on, me too.
I'll be waking up with a whole sermon.
Come on. Whole revelation, whole vision. Gotta write it down.
Now I gotta write it down. Now I gotta find scriptures and write it down.
Yes.
Yeah, that's honestly like encouraging to know. Like I'm in right standing with the Lord. Like if he's speaking to me in my sleep and I can hear in my sleep, one, my ear is always open. Yeah. And two, like he's willing to talk to me. Yeah. You know, that's whew. There's another verse that stood out to me. It'll come back to me. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was going to mention how the verse that we were just speaking about, just at night, how there's instruction that's happening. I just think about how much the night can bring temptation and situations, and it could just be a time where a lot can happen. And to be in a space where you're constantly seeking the Lord, open to hearing his voice, and he's speaking to you and instructing you. I think that's really good because of what can happen, you know, like the things that can come from being tempted. So yeah, that was something that stuck out to me, and just knowing and being reminded of how faithful God is. Verse 11, you make known to me the path of life. You will fill me with joy in your presence, with eternal pleasures at your right hand. I'm so thankful that I have a God that makes known to me the way to go. Because if not, and I have done this in my life where I did not have God, or in times where I've chosen not to choose him, I'm walking around aimlessly, don't know where, if to go left or right, just really confused. Yeah, I have a God that guides me in a way where he's telling me exactly where to go and what to do.
Yep, and it's so simple. It's so peaceful.
It's so simple, it's so peaceful, but it takes a lot of seeking.
Yeah, you got to keep asking God questions throughout the day.
For sure, because what happens whenever you're asking or you're wanting to know, but you're not hearing anything yet? Yeah. You got to stay still, right? Like, it takes a lot of humility, and I would say honestly, self-discipline.
It also takes prayer. It still takes God's help to be still.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, it literally takes a lot of discipline to not choose what you want to do.
Yeah.
And to choose what God is wanting and what he says. So, yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Great example, man. Like, David is just such a great example. We're talking about the David that slept with Bathsheba, that had a fall, right? But yet, look at his heart for the Lord.
Yep.
I love it. Let's move on to chapter 17, another prayer of David here. A lot of good nuggets. Anything that sticks out to you?
I feel like this is a spiritual courthouse where David is at trial. I mean, it's a prayer, obviously, right? But declaring his innocence to the Lord.
That's good. Yeah.
Verse 3, you have tested my thoughts and examined my heart in the night. You scrutinized me and found nothing wrong. I am determined not to sin in what I say. I have followed your commands, which keep me from following cruel and evil people. Like, I believe this is a situation where he's, it's just so transparent.
Yeah.
Like, this is just encouraging me in my prayer that if I'm frustrated with something, like, I could just be like, man, like, it's okay to go to God and be like, man, I've been doing all this stuff. Like, I've been walking in holiness. I've been doing what you've asked me to do. And this season sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so transparently, I'd be so hesitant to say that it sucks because I know it's good, one, but two, like, just don't want to be disrespectful. And the Bible has shown so many times that God can handle your lamenting.
Yeah.
And he desires that, and he wants to hear you. He wants you to cast your cares on him. So yeah, I love his vulnerability, man. As a king, doing this is it's just amazing.
Yeah. I do love also seeing in this space of like you said, this kind of like court where he's defending himself, him asking the Lord to keep him as the apple of his eye, like to continue to protect him and keep him in his wings and his shadow. And I thought that was, it was just cool to see that his desire to be loved by God and for God to still look at him as just this beautiful. I think about how we look at our baby, right? She is definitely the apple of our eye. I look at that little girl and she can't even do any wrong. Like, she
can literally fart on my hand. What she has.
And she does.
And I just be like, you're so cute. And I hate farts.
Yeah.
I really do.
And to know that is what he's desiring and asking, like, just keep me as that. And again, we do, with God being our father and our parent, he does have the ability to look at us in that way. So
yeah. It's crazy, like, I'm grateful. I don't want to sound arrogant. If I do, Lord forgive me. But like, I've had notes. I've gone through my notebooks in the past where I've been transparent and been like at a low state. And like, I just found it very encouraging to know like some of the scripture, some of the things that were in my heart. Like, I always ended with still faith in him.
Yeah. That's
and
good.
to see that even in scripture, like, again, there's not much Psalms in the world that you read and it doesn't end with joy.
So much. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So much
Confidence in
hope.
him.
Yeah.
And I just commend David in his just ability to write all his emotions down and thoughts down, because this is the true essence of what he feels. It's the true essence of what he thinks, true essence of how he operates. Anybody that writes down their thoughts, this is it. You know what I mean? And it's for him to have all this. Like, I think about verse 14, the second half. But satisfy the hunger of your treasured ones. May their children have plenty, leaving an inheritance for their descendants. He's not even talking about himself anymore. He's talking about somebody else. Like, he's talking about other people. Like, his heart for God's righteousness for all people.
Yeah.
For all Israelites. Is dope.
Yeah.
This is on his radar.
I mean, that's good. Well, we have chapters 18, 19, and 20 to finish out this week, or this day, I should say. Chapter 18 is actually a very lengthy one.
Oh, God!
It's a long one. And I do have some highlights. But I say anything that stuck out to you in 18, and then we'll close out with 19 and 20. As we go through, I think I want to actually start.
Go crazy.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's so much. Verse 1, I love you, Lord, my strength. Come on, you better tell the Lord you love him.
I love you, Lord.
I love you,
Lord. Oh, your mercy never... Okay, go ahead.
The Lord is my rock, my fortress, my deliverer. My God is my rock. I mean, I feel like I'm always thinking of songs, because it is a song like that people have remade nowadays. But there was something in verse 19 and continuing on in verse 20. These two things stuck out to me, because first, verse 19, it says, he brought me out into a spacious place. He rescued me because he delighted in me. Like, and then to read 20, the Lord has dealt with me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands, he has rewarded me. I was like, man, I hope to live a life where I can say that because of my righteousness, because I was clean, because that I was rewarded, right? But the truth is, I'm a sinner, and I know that I have done things, said things like that God did not like.
Yeah.
And the fact that David could stand on business and say, because of my righteousness.
Yeah.
And also say, the Lord delights in me. I feel like I've encountered seasons before where I'm like, where God has reminded me that he's proud of me.
Mm-hmm.
But to have a daily, constant life where the Lord is delighting in me.
Yeah.
That can be a challenge.
Yeah. And in the context of it being like, this is one of David's responses after escaping Saul. Right.
Yeah.
Like, Saul was going crazy trying to kill this man for 10 years. And he did nothing wrong to him. Absolutely nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And so for him to say this, like, it just makes sense. I love 24, verse 24. Is it verse 24? Oh, yeah. He has seen my innocence. Like, people, and I think this is even for me in my life, like, I have seeked affirmation from people for a good bit of my life, where I wanted people to see my innocence. And if I was pointed a different direction than that, that it would I would just, oh no, I would never, and now I look crazy trying to defend my name.
Ooh.
And then they be like, you're crazy. It confirms even more. But I think like resting in the fact that God sees my innocence.
And he's the one that vindicates you, yeah.
That's it.
Yes. That's good. No, I love that. And again, that reminder that when you talked about Saul literally is after this man for no reason. Like he's saying, like, I recall back the story where I believe it was like the people had made a song about David, right? It was like this song about David, and it was like, okay, Saul heard it, and he was like, hold on, wait a minute, whoa. Got jealous, and then went on this whole quest to kill David.
Yeah. I think, what I've learned about those situations is like, because you gotta remember, like, God took his spirit from Saul and he replaced it with a tormenting spirit. So that tormenting spirit definitely encouraged him to, like, act a plumb fool for 10 years, to the point, tormenting him to the point of leading him to his own suicidal death.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's
crazy.
It's crazy.
But to know that, seeing how close David was, where this song was written after that, after he was delivered from Saul.
I just got a revelation. Go ahead.
What's the revelation?
Oh, I was gonna say, are you done?
You go ahead.
I was gonna say, I find it like God literally was like, David was God's choice, and Saul was the Israelites' choice. And so even with selecting the kings,
yeah,
like, if you go on your own with any decision, it's not gonna prosper.
Yeah.
Like, even with you, Israel, like, wanting this king, you select this king. You didn't consult God. You told God you wanted one. He allowed it, but you chose. You didn't allow him to choose. He chose somebody else.
Come on.
And now he look crazy.
And
disobedient. That's another topic for another day.
Yeah. But no, I was just gonna finish out this chapter and just talking about, like, I just appreciate David in every season, in every situation, even when the deliverance come, making sure he's going to the Lord.
Yep.
Journaling about it, singing a song about it, praising him about it, right? And it just shows me that God was with him every step of the way, because he desired for God to be with him every step of the way, you know? So yeah. Well, we have our last two chapters for today, Psalm 19 and Psalm 20. And yeah, we could just kind of combine those two together as we get ready to wrap up. But I want to see if there was anything that stuck out to you. There was definitely, again, highlights for days. Verses 7 through 9. What I observed through this, because it starts off with the law of the Lord is perfect. It continued on to talk more and more about his law. And then it says his statutes. And then it says his precepts, his commands, his decrees. Like, all of these were describing God's law. And I thought it was so cool and unique and clever of David to do that, because it's just different ways of describing the same thing, but also us getting to see that not only is the law of the Lord perfect, but the Lord's statutes are trustworthy. Like, you can trust it. Like, he make making wise the simple.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it talks about how the Lord gives joy to the heart and like all these different things. And I'm just like, okay, David.
Yeah.
Way to really, because oftentimes when you look at the law and when you think about it, a lot of times you can be like, oh, I don't want to follow the rules. Like, why there got to be rules? Like, you know what I'm saying? And just hearing the way that he described it, it sounds so joyous, something that I want to partake in, right? I want to follow the rules of the Lord. Like, I love the descriptor of it.
I think this chapter, because earlier this week we talked about praise and the definition of it in one of the Psalms. I think this here is would show a definition of God and his worship to him. Worship meaning who he is, not what he's done, but just the mere fact of who he is. And I think the scripture has a lot to say about his character.
Yeah, it does. It does. And verse 13 really stuck out to me because I was like, this is so real. Literally him asking God to keep him from sins that are willful, the ones that he has chosen to engage in.
Mm-hmm.
The things that he's desires to partake in. I think that's real.
Yeah. Mine says, keep your servant from deliberate sins. Don't let them control me. Then I will be free of guilt and innocent of great sin.
Yeah, no. The way that the NIV came through with the willful sins, I just can't get over it. Because I can say in my own life, there are times where I know
I'm stepping into this room and I'm sinning.
I know that what's about to come out of my mouth is not going to glorify the Lord. And I should not say it. But I want to. And I'm about to. And I just said it.
Because y'all. Boop, 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 boop. I think there's a little sound effect on here that makes those noises.
I mean, and this is why they say marriage is a mirror. In marriage, I see myself. No, what I mean by that, because
you be cussing me out. What you saying?
No, I'm just saying like there. Yeah, like not yet.
Yeah, I do cuss you out. I do.
No.
Just kidding.
I'm just talking about in the situations where I'm supposed to be loving or gracious, where you put the dishes in the dishwasher wrong, and I want to go off. I'll be real. Come on now.
She wanted 90 degrees. I put it 89. She'll get upset.
When you don't line it up so you can maximize the space.
Do you hear this?
You know, like it's just the little things that can cause you
to cuss. Dishes.
Why you gotta say curse?
Will make you cuss.
It don't even have to be curse words.
It
could literally be just you being impatient. When I say you, I'm saying me. Like it could be impatience. It could be not saying anything that's gonna be speaking life out of your mouth. You could cuss. You can't cuss without cuss words, right?
Oh God.
So it's just like even the things where I'm like, I got an attitude and I want to keep having an attitude and I don't want to apologize, right? Like willful sins. So yeah, that's that.
Chapter 20. Before we close.
Chapter 20.
He grants you.
Come on.
Your heart's desire.
I knew it.
And makes your plans succeed. People misinterpret this scripture so much.
Yes.
They think that you have a desire in your heart, he makes it happen. Nah. He gives you your heart's desires. Then you'll succeed, and he'll make your plans succeed.
Yeah.
And anything that the Lord has placed in your heart, if it's the equal to that equation is him getting the glory, he's going to fulfill it. Every time.
Yeah.
Because he put it in you.
Yeah.
Every time.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because like you said, highly misinterpreted, but
now you got people running around thinking that
I wanted this, but I didn't get it.
And now they think God is a microwave.
Yeah, and it's not like that. Thank God we have a God that gives us what to desire. That shows us what to desire, pours it in us, because if not, we would desire things that are fleeting, right? That can't bring us any real satisfaction or good. But yeah, thank you for pointing that out in Psalm 20. We get to continue on this week with more Psalms.
Yep.
And tomorrow we'll pick up in Psalm 21.
Woo.
So yeah, we hope that you join us again tomorrow, and we cannot wait to see you. See you later.
Thank you for joining us for the VIBEZ Daily podcast. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, or download our favorite, the VIBEZ Church app. Visit vibes.church/devoted for additional episodes, notes, details, and the latest merch. Join us next time as we continue our journey through the Bible.